we'll discover in this episode. Alan visits Kate and catches her performing a ceremony to mark the death of Roy, the goldfish. Alan apologizes for how he spoke on Sunday, but stands by what he said. Kate reassures him, saying she won't be making a complaint. On reflection, she and Alan are more alike than she realized. Alan recounts this conversation to Amy, but it doesn't put her at ease. She thinks there is still a lot of people in Ambridge who think badly of her, and the best thing would be to return to Nottingham for good. Jazzer's anxious about his Borough Farm job, even though Borchester Land isn't closing the big unit. After a meeting between Brian, Neil and Hannah, Jazzer learns that he remains employed but with reduced hours. Later, Jazzer tells Neil that he was impressed with how Tracy took the news and that he took the opportunity to persuade Tracy to make up with Susan. Neil is grateful and tells Jazzer that he is part of the family now. Amy tells Chris about her plans to return to Nottingham. She says that she's fallen in love with him and asks if he feels the same. If he does, then maybe they can find somewhere they can be together, or stay and talk it out. Chris isn't ready to say that he loves Amy, but thinks that one day in the future they would be good together. That's not enough for Amy, and her mind is made up. She's moving back to Nottingham. It would be easier if she and Chris weren't in touch for a while. Thank you for listening, and I will leave you with this episode of The Archers.
This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
You're listening to Wednesday's episode of The Archers from BBC Radio 4.
And so to you, source of all, destination of all, I give praise and thanks.
Hello, Kate. Is anybody that...
Oh, Alan.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've obviously interrupted...
It's a committal ceremony. Roy's dead.
What? When did this happen?
I found him this morning.
Hey?
Just floating in his tank.
I beg your pardon?
Not Roy Tucker. The fish that Phoebe gave me.
Phoebe gave you a fish?
Called Roy.
I'm not sure I was aware of that.
Well, I've been offering up his spirit to the Mother Goddess.
Ah. So Roy was definitely a he, then?
I thought it was my duty as a fellow creature. We have to love and respect all living things.
Well, I quite agree.
Poor Roy was obviously approaching the end of his life anyway.
Yes.
So, as his last companion on Earth, I wanted to mark his transition.
Well, I'd better leave you to it.
It's all right. I was on the final prayer anyway.
Okay. If you don't mind.
Now that your creature Roy has returned to the universe, as one day will we all, please shine your gracious light of love, wisdom and kindness on all living things through infinite space and endless time.
That was very interesting.
I'm sure you think I'm a hopeless heathen, headed straight for hell.
No, on the contrary. I thought it was very moving. We may find God in different ways, but the important thing is that we find him. Or her.
I expect you've come to talk about what happened on Sunday.
Yes. I wanted to apologise for my tone.
Oh.
I understand you're thinking of making a complaint. That is, of course, entirely your right. I can't stop you, and I have no intention of trying.
Okay.
But if you do, you should know that while I'm sorry for how I said it, I can't back down from the basic thrust of what I said. So, there you are.
I see. Well, that's quite clear.
I hope so.
Would you like a cup of chai?
When did Brian say he was coming here?
3.
He's late.
That's only 5 past.
Waiting's doing my heat in.
Well, at least we know we got another 3 months.
Do you have Neil? What about the rest of us?
You'll have to wait a bit longer. We'll let you know the plan as soon as we can. Definitely before home time, I promise you that.
I'm a goner, ain't I?
I don't know why you should assume that.
Last in, first out, that's the rule.
Well, not necessarily. Look, here he is now. Can you try to be a little bit more positive? It's thanks to him there's any future at all for this place.
Aye, I get it.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's okay, Brian.
Stella and I were regrouping the hinds. Took a little longer than we anticipated.
No problem.
Right, shall we head into the office, Neil?
Can you not have mercy on a man?
I'm sorry, Jazza.
Just do it. Put me out of my misery.
I was quite surprised at how fierce you were.
Well, I hope that's a side of me very few people ever see.
Please don't get me wrong, Alan. I still think what Amy did was horrible. So hurtful to Alice, but on reflection, I could have put my point over differently. And maybe, all right, definitely, I should have picked a different time and place.
Well, it's very gracious of you to say so.
And you needn't worry. I won't be making a complaint against you.
Oh, thank you, Kate. I appreciate that.
Let's just forget about it, shall we?
Well, it is a reminder that we all make mistakes sometimes. Vicars, daughters.
Holistic well-being mumpreneurs.
Oh, yourself, you mean?
You and I are much more alike than I ever realised.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, for a start, we're both terrifying when we're angry.
I envy you guys. No bills to pay, no worries about the future. Just eating, sleeping and rooting. That's the life.
Oh, no, Brian. He's over here.
All right, the end isn't ideal.
Oh, right you are.
Even then, you keep pleasure to a lot of people.
You rushed away so quickly, Jazza. I thought you might have gone home.
And leave my lads and lasses in the lurch? No way.
Looked like you were having a jolly good conversation.
Aye, well, none of this is their fault, is it?
Oh, well, that's very true. And it's not your fault either.
I'm just pleased I'll still be working with them.
We are sorry to have to cut your hours.
And Mikhail's.
Could be worse. I could have been like Clarky. Let go completely.
Yeah, that was a great shame.
It's unavoidable, I'm afraid.
I try to give him my commiserations, but he just blanked me.
I can see he's upset. None of us wanted this to happen.
Indeed.
I'll make sure he gets a good reference.
Aye.
I know it'll mean more work for us all, but we'll pull together.
Oh, I know that, Neil, and I appreciate it, but whatever way you look at it, less hours means less money.
I'm afraid so.
I'll still have to tighten my belt, will I know?
It wasn't at all the conversation I was expecting.
What happened then?
Well, Kate realises she shouldn't have attacked you the way she did.
She attacked you too, Dad.
No, she was sorry for that as well. And she understood why I got so angry. We were both defending people we love. So there you are, all blown over.
Except it hasn't.
Well, as far as Kate's concerned, anyway.
She was only saying what a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, there are plenty of other people who think differently. That you and Chris are free agents and can do whatever you like.
Oh, except it's not that simple. I bet Kate still thought what I did was wrong.
Well, yes.
I can't seem to go out without seeing one or other of the Aldridge family crossing to the other side of the road, giving me the evils.
You sure you're not imagining that, Amy? Because you feel guilty?
I should feel guilty. I put my friend's life at risk.
Well, as I said before, Alice has to be responsible for her own actions.
And I have to be responsible for mine. I'm not sure I can stay here anymore.
What do you mean?
I think I should go back to Nottingham. For good, I mean.
Oh, but how will you manage?
I keep hearing about how many job vacancies there are. Shouldn't be too hard to get work in a coffee shop or something, or dog walking.
Maybe.
And if I'm desperate, I can still work as a midwife, go on the bank.
Well, sort of agency work?
Yeah. Who knows? I might find I enjoy midwifery again. Anyway, I just need something to keep me busy and pay the bills.
All right. I understand your reasoning, but I hate the thought of you being driven away.
It's not like that, Dad. Really.
And you think it will help with the Chris and Alice situation?
Well, it'll give us all space from each other, and I need to properly work out how I feel about Chris. And if it's worth putting Alice through any more torture.
And what does Chris think?
We haven't spoken about it yet.
Well, I do think that's a conversation you need to have pretty soon.
Yeah, I've messaged him, and I'm going to go round to the flat when he's finished work.
Evening, Neil. Off to the pub.
I wish. Church meeting.
Tough luck.
Oh, it's not that bad. There'll be biscuits.
The decadence.
What about you? Going for a drink?
Nah, I'm away home for my tea.
All right.
I've been to Tracy's just telling her my news.
Okay. And,
She was braw. I mean, some lasses would be like, does this mean you're not going to buy me prezzies anymore?
Oh, that's good.
She's just sorry for me doing less hours, because she knows how much I love the work.
She's got a good heart.
So have you, Neil. I know you fought for me back there.
Oh, only because you deserve it.
And one good turn deserves another, so I managed to persuade Tracy she'd make it up with Susan.
Oh, Jazzer, I am pleased.
Well, so what, under the bridge now?
Yeah, I hate it when those two are arguing.
You and me both.
Families should stick together. And, well, yes, I think of you as part of the family now.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Stop it, big man. If you're no careful, I'll be greeting all the village green.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I think I was a bit scared at what we'd started. Might have started.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to hurt Alice any more than we had already.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, did you want a drink or something?
I'm fine.
There's beers in the fridge, or
really,
I could do coffee
Chris, I'm
okay.
fine.
I'm glad you come round when you didn't reply to my messages.
I'm sorry it took so long. Had a lot of thinking to do.
Sure.
And there's something I need to ask you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm considering moving back to Nottingham.
Oh, right.
And I wondered how you'd feel about that.
Is this because of what we did? You shouldn't feel you have to.
I don't. It would be my choice. And if I did, it wouldn't necessarily mean an end to whatever this is. It's Nottingham, not Norway.
Sure.
Thing is, Chris, I think I've fallen in love with you. And if you feel the same way, then it might be a lot easier if there's somewhere we can be together that's not here, where everyone's looking at us. Or maybe I'd stay in Ambridge and we'd tough it out. Everything would be worth it if you felt the same. So?
Do I love you?
Yes.
That's a hard question.
I think it's a pretty simple one.
You've got to understand, I've just come out of a really difficult situation. Well, I'm still in it.
I know.
My head's all over the place, and if I'm honest...
Go on.
I don't think I'm in quite the same place as you. Not because of anything about you, I'm just not ready for a big, serious relationship, not so soon after...
So you're saying no? You don't love me?
Amy...
I'd really rather know the truth.
I don't love you now. Not like that. Not yet. But I really, really like you, and I think we'd be good together. Who knows where things might go in the future.
I'm sorry. That's not enough. Not for me. And it's no surprise, really. Let's face it, the timing's been terrible.
You can say that again.
I can't just hang around waiting for something that might or might not happen. It's unfair to put that pressure on you.
It's much more unfair on you.
I truly care for you, Chris. But I've got to think of myself as well.
Of course you have. So does this mean...
I'll always be your friend, Chris. But maybe it'd be easier if we weren't in touch for a while.
Does that mean you're definitely moving?
Yes.
Amy,
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Looks like it just wasn't meant to be.
the pavement. It's only 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for him finding